Ever find yourself setting like a million goals and then a few weeks later you're like, wait, what was I working towards again?
Oh, absolutely. I think we've all been there.
Yeah, it's like that initial burst of motivation and then poof. But hey, that's why we're here today. We're diving deep into 5 goal-setting tips. And these aren't just your typical, positive vibes only kind of tips. We're talking science-backed strategies to actually make those goals happen.
Exactly. It's all about understanding the psychology behind it all. Because let's face it, just telling ourselves to be better rarely gets us very far.
Right. So, tip number 1, and this one might sound familiar, set specific and measurable goals.
Okay, so this might seem obvious on the surface, but I think where people get tripped up is they skip over the specific part.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's like, I want to be healthier. What does that even mean?
Right. It's like saying, I want to go on vacation, but you don't pick a destination. Your brain needs a clear roadmap.
And that's where measurable comes in, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning it, loves a good challenge, but it needs something concrete to latch onto. So instead of be healthier, it's run a 5K in under 30 minutes. See the difference?
It's like suddenly your brain has a destination to navigate towards.
Precisely. And when you can measure your progress, each step of the way, well, that triggers those little dopamine hits.
Oh, the good stuff. So we're feeling motivated, we have a clear target, but then comes that feeling of how do I even begin? And
Yeah.
that's where tip number 2 comes in. Break it down into actionable steps.
Because, let's be honest, looking at the big picture can be completely overwhelming.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm the queen of overwhelm.
But when you break down a large goal, let's say writing a book, into smaller, more manageable steps.
Like write a page a day or even write for 15 minutes.
Exactly. Suddenly, it doesn't seem so intimidating, does it?
It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But in this case, it's like a bunch of carefully planned out steps.
And with each step you take, you're building momentum, reinforcing that positive feedback loop in your brain.
It's amazing how powerful those small wins can be. But let's be real, even with the best intentions, we all need a little extra push sometimes.
Right, which brings us to tip number 3. Don't underestimate the power of accountability. Because making promises to ourselves, that's easy.
It's the keeping them part that trips us up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you have someone else in your corner, someone to cheer you on and maybe even give you a little nudge when you need it.
It makes all the difference, whether it's a friend, a family member, a coach, even an online community.
The key is finding what works for you. Some people thrive on external validation, like posting their progress updates on social media.
Which, hey, no judgment. Whatever helps you stay on track, right?
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's about creating a support system that encourages you to be your best self.
Okay, on to tip number 4. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one because honestly, I used to be a bit skeptical. Visualizing your goals, is it really that powerful or is it just wishful thinking?
I get it, it sounds a little out there. But the science behind it is actually pretty fascinating.
Go on.
So our brains, they're powerful things, but they also have a hard time distinguishing between something we vividly imagine and something we actually experience.
So you're saying that by visualizing ourselves achieving a goal, like giving a killer presentation, we're essentially tricking our brains into thinking it's already happened.
In a way, yes. It's like mental rehearsal. The
Yeah,
more you visualize yourself succeeding, the more you're priming your brain to make it happen in real life.
that's wild. Okay, last but not least, tip number 5, review and adjust. Because we can plan all we want, but life happens.
All the time. And that's okay. It's important to be flexible and adaptable.
It's like those initial goals we set, they're not set in stone.
Right. Think of it as an ongoing process, not a one-time thing. Regularly review your goals. Are they still relevant? Are the steps you outlined still working for you?
It's about being honest with ourselves, right? And not being afraid to make adjustments along the way.
Exactly. Because sometimes the detours lead to even better destinations.
So there you have it. 5 tips to not just set goals, but actually achieve them.
It's about understanding yourself, your brain, and what motivates you to create lasting change.
So what goal are you going to commit to today? Think about it, pick one, and get ready to make it happen.